I'd like to first start by saying a thank you to TikTok for Business for hosting us, and have been hosting us for the last couple of days for Tribe Global. For those that don't know me, I'm David Balfour. I'm the co-founder of Light Blue and the chair of Tribe Global. This is Ian Wright, the founder of Family, and the managing director of Tribe Global as well.
Thank you, David. Well, it's fantastic to see you all here today. It's great you've made time to come along and hear from us. We have some really interesting, inspiring, thought-provoking speakers and panels, which are going to take place during the course of today. So I really hope you enjoy that. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't just say a couple of words about Tribe Global. I don't know how much you know about Tribe, but we are a network, or I kind of call it a community, of independent communication agencies. We're based in Amsterdam, but we are here in Dubai for our global meeting, and there's Tribe people here from all around the world. So they are here at the moment to join us. It's great that you're here because you can come and celebrate. This is our 10th birthday. Unfortunately, you missed the cupcakes. We had cupcakes the other night. But it was our 10th birthday, so come and celebrate with us for our 10th birthday. It's fantastic to see you all here.
And I'd like to first welcome our first speaker, who is the amazing Amrita, the first NFT artist in the UAE. So big round of applause for Amrita.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much to Tribe Global for inviting me to speak today. And obviously, it's amazing to be here at the TikTok Lounge. As I said, it's a very nice introduction. I'm the first NFT artist here in the UAE, but I've not always been an artist. If we can go to the next slide, actually, let me just get this clicker organized. Yeah, perfect. So not only I'm the first artist in the NFT artist in the UAE, I've also created my own genre of art, right? And it's called Sound Bites, which, I can sit here and tell you all about myself, but I've been very, very fortunate enough to have had some amazing support here in the community within the UAE from lots of different press media, and CNN is actually one of them. So I'm actually just going to let them introduce me, if you don't mind, and I'm just going to play this video. you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So yes, at the time I called the voice note art, and now I've actually started to call them sound bites because I just think it sounds cooler. And so just a little bit of a background of me. I know it went there, but you know, I'm a banker turned artist. So I very much came from a very corporate background, right? I worked, you know, in some of the world's largest organizations like, you know, Barclays, HSBC, Zurich Insurance, and I worked across multiple functions, you know, across sales, marketing, you name it. And it was only about 4 years ago that I decided, I actually left the corporate world because I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but in the finance world. And so when I left it, I actually decided, well, I didn't decide anything, actually. The universe decided it for me. And I just connected with my artistic self that I had when I was younger. We all, or some of us, have hobbies from when you were younger, and you always think, you know, should I have gone back to that? And I think sometimes that, you know, my journey was to find my voice, right? And to be able to connect, go in and be able to tell stories. And that's, to its core, is what my sound bites really are. It's about storytelling, technology, and art, because effectively what I do is I take the fact that have a word is worth 1,000 pictures, right? And so every image, like I know we're talking to a lot of sort of brands here today, or you guys talk to brands. Every brand has its story, and you know the world is obsessed with how do you convey that, right? And so what I wanted to do is kind of create like a dynamic storytelling situation. You know, it's not a matter of just being able to take a picture of, say, somebody, take a photo of a portrait and paint a portrait of somebody. It's about like, how are we telling, you know, that story, so to speak, right? So I'll just go through this a little bit more. So I think, yeah, sorry, let me just, yeah, I'll put this up here. So, I mean, I really started essentially, you know, making, you know, just cities. Because remember, when I started doing this, like, I didn't even know about NFTs. I created an artwork that was based purely like on a dynamic flow. And when I painted these pictures, I remember people didn't even, like, I had to explain it, and so you have to go and say, okay, this is all based on a sound wave, and then the images reflect that. And then the minute I understood and found what NFTs were, the storytelling could work, because I started to include animation in it. And what's really cool and what's really funny, and actually we forget about it, is this was in 2019, right? I used to have to put how to QR code up stories up on my Instagram to explain to people how to use a QR code. And to this day, there's so many of my friends who are like, you know, you're the one who actually taught us how to QR code. And that was back in 2019. I mean, it's just crazy, right? And then that's what COVID did, right? Because when I then went and I started, then in 2020, when we went into lockdown, and that's when I decided to think, well, how could I make my voice note art at the time, or my soundbite, into something that I could digitize, because I was making it digitally, right? And the only problem is, prior to being, you know, NFTs, as a digital artist, you were only able to, you know, I would say even monetize it or sell it or do something once you made it tangible, right? And so, you know, this concept that, oh my God, like, you know, and so I was just like, you know, how else do I play around with this digital aspect? So then that's when I created an algorithm. You know, I was literally bored in the house, didn't know anything about like tech. Everything I've taught myself, right? It's been a complete learning on that side. And then that's when I discovered NFTs through a platform called Terra Virtua, which is where I actually started my original collection. And it was easy for me to understand the blockchain, because I've been in finance for so many years. And it's not something that it comes naturally to people, because I think everybody, you know, everybody has different experiences, especially artists. Some artists have a problem even opening up an Excel spreadsheet, right? Because it's like you're not activated on both sides of the brain. But I think this is where, what I would say though is that, and I was having a discussion the other day about this, is that the issue that we have in this space, which can complicate sometimes mass adoption, is people's desire or need almost. It's not even a desire. I think it's just like a weird need to know absolutely everything about how blockchain, NFTs, the tech works. I mean, I'm getting on a flight today. I don't know how the plane operates. You know, I don't know how, you know, I just get in a car and drive, right? I don't need to know every single machination of the tech of certain things, but because we live now in such a tech-driven and informationally available age, for some reason everybody wants to know everything about how something works before they delve into it, which is just really weird. And so if that's the case with mass adoption, it's going to be very difficult for everybody to get involved, because we're still in a bleeding edge technology, right? We're creating, but as we're creating, the tech is still bleeding. It's not 100% right. It is still clunky. It's hard to explain it to people. And so, you know, that's kind of where, you know, I would say kind of lack all of this. But what I kind of want to do is, as an artist, because I was in the NFT space, I would say prior to this whole 10,000 generative art piece concept. Oh, wait. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I'll tell you when to play the video. Thanks. And so I was kind of much before this, you know, this kind of crazy, I don't know what it is, but it's like this crazy whirlwind of, you know, everybody now knows the formula, 10,000 pieces, $200. You do that, you make a lot of money, you rug pull and you go away. It's like, it's crazy, right? But, you know, what I've always wanted to do with art, and there's a lot of value in that, by the way, don't get me wrong, especially if you do it right. And we'll talk about that later on, because it's an amazing way for brands, especially big brands, global brands, to organize themselves and their communities. But what I've been trying to do is, and this is what I still try to do, is try to show people that NFTs aren't just about that, right? And I know it's changing so fast, and even today it's about something else, and the focus will be about something else tomorrow, because it's at such a pace. But what I wanted to do is show that, you know, what the kind of creativity that NFTs, the Web3, and the metaverse actually unlock. It unlocks so much stuff, because basically you've got to a point where anything is possible. I always say this, everything is possible in the metaverse and Web3 space. Literally the only thing that stops you is your imagination. And so what I kind of do is I just like to have fun with it, a lot to my hard work and my own expense, but to have fun. And so what I did is I wanted to paint a really large mural, and I just went to the DIFC, the world, you know, Dubai's largest centralized financial system, and I said, how do you feel about me painting a massive Bitcoin on the side of the wall, or an Ethereum, or the word DeFi? And lucky enough for me, I don't think they knew what they were agreeing to at the time. Yeah, go for it. And so I've literally painted, actually, we're in talks with the Guinness World Records, because it's maybe the first, maybe the second, we don't know. We have to do the whole thing. But it's basically 20 meters long, 15 meters high, and you've got this entire wall that I've then, which is amazing in itself, but what I then did is I added augmented reality to it. And so what I tend to do is now, I tend to use technology as a tool brush to activate a different type of storytelling. So I'm just gonna play the video now. This is at the Burj Khalifa. You go, you scan the QR code on the wall, and this is what happens. So that's it. So the whole thing literally just pops out at you. It's the first of its kind in Dubai, and one of the world's first and largest augmented reality mural. Thank you very much, guys. Stop, it's okay, stop, yeah. I'll just go to the next. If you guys want, you can try it on your phones. I don't know, for those who have Instagram. You can scan the QR code. That will open up into Instagram. And you just need to point the image. You then need to point your phone. You scan it normally in a normal camera. That will open up, and you just need to point it at the camera. If it doesn't come up, it means you've not upgraded your Instagram app, so you might want to do that. And then when you do, just tell me who's found it, who's already got it, right? And you can see it's being activated. And so this is the whole point, is that, and when you press then the middle button, for those of you who've actually done it, you're actually recording a story. So that's straight into social media right there. And so this is, for me, what I believe is something that's going to change not just art, but the way brands and the way companies interact. Because all of a sudden, what we've done here is we've activated a different dimension. You've used air as new real estate. You don't need to just have the image anymore. You've got multiple ways of accessing that information. And so, I'm sure you've all watched movies and futuristic movies where literally you're walking through, and I think it's Minority Report or whatever these ones, and you literally kind of open up, you've got your Google glasses, and boom, you're just looking, and you've got whales like flying over. You've got maybe a Coca-Cola ad where the drink is coming over there. But the idea is that all of a sudden we're now moving into an age where this is going to be normalized. But I don't feel enough people are getting it yet. But great for me, because I'm the first one. There's not many people doing it, right? And so I think that. I think that this is something that over time is that this is what people are calling, I only heard this term the other day, but it's also funny because, we're just doing this, like the people in my space and the people who've been working in this for a while, we're just doing this naturally, and now people are coming up with these fancy terms for everything. So apparently this is now called the open metaverse. And it is because and I'm a big believer in AR, right? Especially when it comes to that first step, because it's non-intrusive. You don't have to have something on your face to activate it. It's something very familiar. It's on your phone, and you're able straight away to be able to connect and to hear that story. And so I think from a mass adoption place, I'm a big believer in first, augmented reality first, and then VR second. What I kind of do also here is that I break down the sound bite into sound bits, right? So, all of a sudden, again, you take a word, you've got the different elements to it, and again, you can break that down into story. And then from that story, you can then break it down either further and fractionalize it even more, because one of the major advantages as well of NFTs is that you can fractionalize things. You can keep the rarity, you can keep the scarcity and the unique aspect of it, and also create a 10,000 piece collection, which for an artist is amazing, because before you couldn't scale an artist. You couldn't scale an artist and still have it unique and rare and available to collectors. And so what you then ended up having, one big piece, you have to pay tons of money for it. It was inaccessible to everybody else. But now what's able is you're able to access an entire, an artist, and literally have a piece of the collection, but still being unique to itself, right? And so, literally just from that one sound wave, which says Future NFT Dubai, as I said, Bitcoin on the side of the DIFC, you can literally get 10,000 pieces. And I think that's also something that I think a lot of people haven't, I think, really understood the importance and significance of it yet. So because I like being extra, I thought, okay, what do I wear when I go and display my wall? And so I decided to create augmented reality clothing. So I create wearables, and I think my main reason to doing all of these things is I'm in experiment mode, right? I'm not one of those artists who's just like, yes, okay, fine, let's just go. I'm trying to see what the technology can do for me from a creative perspective, right? So actually, I'm just going to play this video. This is, yeah, if you guys don't mind playing this video, please. Thanks. So for those of you who don't know, an abaya is like a kind of like dress, Arabic dress. And I created, for me, this is the world's first augmented reality abaya, where I put a QR code, you scan it, and the clothing comes alive again. Now, there's two types of, thanks guys, perfect. So there's two types of really augmented reality when it comes to digital wearables. You have your normal filters, but you actually have something physical and tangible. So I've kind of moved on from, by the way, QR codes, like that's so 2019, and I don't need to explain it to people anymore. I actually now use NFC chips. So if you guys want to come and scan me later, you can do. So just it just goes straight onto it. And then you point at my back, and the augmented reality comes alive. And for me, this is what I love about it. And this is, I think, we are, as I said, we become the creative real estate. We become the storytelling. And I'm super, super, super excited to actually, it's been like 3 weeks in the making. And just yesterday, we finalized it. It's still not perfect, but I've actually created, I think it's the world first, I don't know, whatever, but it's my first augmented reality cap. So this, you can see my cap. You've got my logo. You come and scan it over here. I've actually created a limited edition, right? So that's one of 145. I'll explain the 145 in a second. And so even the cap is, you have 2 out of 3 or whatever, even the cap is limited edition. And so this is it. It's like honing in on this feeling that everybody is unique and what you have is unique to you. And I think that is also something that's really becoming, as we have so many people in this world and as we have so many different characters, that is becoming so important to be bespoke, right? And then you scan it here, and this cap. I don't even have a video of it because I sent this presentation. That's the NFT in Web3 space. I sent this presentation 2 days ago, and it's already out of date. You know what I mean? So you literally scan this and come later, and I'll show you, and it activates the logo. And so I wanted to do this because for a number of reasons why I tried to get it done by today is I wanted to come and speak to you guys and show you the capabilities in terms of what branding can do. For me, this is a piece of art, right? But I understand that art hopefully will seep in and inspire how brands can communicate with people. But also, I had an event last night where if you'd bought, anyone who's bought my NFT collection, I call them the Bite Club. They're part of the Biters. In fact, shout out to Andrew over there. He's one of my collectors, and so this is also it, and this is where we'll talk a little bit later about sort of community, the importance of being able to gather people, have that sense of belonging, that sense of connection, and art does that anyway. But a lot of the time that we need images to help us really kind of connect to something, right? So, and I think that connection is just that. And whether it's an image, whether it's an art image, whether it's a brand, whether it's a picture of an ape, whether it's a picture of a rock, it's that visual representation is what connects people a lot of the time. That's why the power of it is so important. And so by doing that, you're able to build a community around it. And then why do people stay in the community? Because is it, like-mindedness? It's about what that community is providing to them, whether it's in terms of knowledge, entertainment, fun, relationships. And so it becomes such a beautiful tool to be able to organize people. I'm just going to quickly go over just my most recent collection, where I decided, because again, everything is possible in Web3 and the metaverse, so I decided, well, why don't I just create my own language? So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do that. I'm really bad at languages, and that's also it, is that your avatar in the metaverse, your alter ego can be anything that you're not, right? I can't read legal contracts to save my life. I can't speak languages, and I can't sing. So my avatar has to be able to do all three of those things, just because it compensates for me. And I joke, but actually in the future, well, it's not even in the future because it's happening right now. It's just not available, or it is available to everybody. They just don't choose to activate it, is that in the future, we're going to have our own avatars, which are literally going to be not mini me's, but avatar me's. And they will be connected to AI. They're going to learn everything you do. They're going to shadow you, right? They think like you, they act like you because they are you. And when they do that, then you're able to just, they will be able to even, you can then teach them to do things that you can't. So whether it's about singing, whether it's, reading a legal contract or speaking a language, your avatar will be able to do that and more. I'll drop a little bit of alpha for you. Going forward, say you pass away, your avatar will live forever. And so when you die, later on, your kids grow up and you're like, oh, I want to ask dad or mom, what would they do in this situation? Well, guess what? You can do, because you're going to feed your AI avatar the updated information globally. They're going to be available to understand what the world is. You're going to connect it with how you think. And then you'll be like, yeah, I'll just pop into the metaverse and ask dad what he thinks, or mom, or whatever the case is. So, it's endless, right? And so even like with my sound bites, I've not got there yet because there's just a lack of timing. But ultimately, my sound bites is you can tell an entire story, you can tell your story, and you can actually record different stories, and you can gift it to, or you can make it, and every year you can add different messages to that artwork. You can create different, augmented reality. It goes on and on. So basically, I'll just quickly go over this. I won't spend too much time because I want to cover other stuff. But basically, I created my own language. And it's like, because ultimately language is just a string of symbols. And then I created my first word from my language. So this is actually the word meta reversed. So M stands for Mobius circle, the dot is E in Morse code, T is for triangle, A for arrow, sometimes really basic, but you know what, let's just keep it basic. I mean, there are pictures of rocks out there. Rectangle, Ethereum, vase. And so what I did is I actually created a sculpture on this. There's a video, but it's like 3 minutes long, and yeah, I mean, I'll just cover